Ra Hogan for the Boxing Voice. I'm delighted to be speaking to the Roos Rhino, Jay Munn. How are you, Jay?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good.
So you are returning to the ring in your native Cardiff this Saturday on TM14 Promotions, who are doing the rounds around the country, bringing some small hall shows. Yeah. So unlike most prospects, you've actually been fairly busy in the pandemic time. You're now 6-0, looking to go 7-0. But outside of Wales, I don't think many of the fans will have known much about you. So can you tell us a bit about your background, your amateur career, and how you got into boxing, all of that?
Right, okay. So I start with how I got into boxing. So originally I was doing martial arts. I've had about over 120 odd fights in martial arts. I done the world championships, British championships, all that. Achieved my black belt. I was about 13 years old, and I kept walking past the boxing gym in Roos to go to martial arts. And I was always wondering, look, see them kids going in, and I've always wanted to do it. Always wanted to give it a go because it's, something different and whatnot. So I've gone home this one time, and I've asked my mum. I said, "Mum, can I go to the boxing gym?" My mum, being my mum, or any other mum, she was like, "No way, you're gonna ruin your face and this and that." Not that there's much gonna be ruined anyway, because I'm bloody ugly anyway, so it makes no difference. And she was like, "No, you're not going." So I said, "All right, fine, I won't go." And the following week, I took extra clothes in my bag. So I said, "I'm going to martial arts. I'm doing a double session." Little did she know that I was gonna go there, do the one set. I'd done the one session in martial arts, and then walked over to the boxing gym, got changed, and just got involved. And I just kept all quiet for the week. By the end of the week, they gave me my form to sign so I can get my medical done and have a fight, have an amateur fight. And I told my old man. My old man's got a bit of boxing background himself, and my uncle who runs Penarth ABC. So boxing is in the family. And my old man was like, "Right, keep it quiet. Don't tell your mum. We'll give it a couple of weeks, and then we'll drop the hint into her and whatnot." So I said, "Yeah, perfect." And I was looking at the form, and I forgot to hide it, and I left it out. And I went to school, and then I had the text saying, "You little bugger, you've been going to the boxing gym," and she caught me. God, she gave me the biggest hiding ever. That was probably my hardest fight with my mum. She was like, "You lied to me. How dare you be going train? Your nose is going to be flat." I said, "Mum, no, it's not like that. It's not like that." Anyway, eventually she accepted it, and she's my biggest fan. So that's how I got into boxing. Probably took me about 5 months until I had my first amateur fight. In the amateurs, though, I had 20 amateur fights, two Welsh vests. I had a bronze in the British, but don't really count that because it was a first round, and I didn't really do well. And I went to the Commonwealth Games, got offered, didn't achieve anything, but experience-wise, that's what I gained. And I got offered to be in the Welsh squad, but I turned it down and decided to turn professional.
Oh, that's interesting. So, because in this day and age, there seems to be a lot of fighters seem to stay in the amateurs for a hell of a long time. We've seen some of these Team GB guys, they're like 30 or over. So you're only 22, is that right?
Yeah, 23 Saturday.
Oh, happy birthday from all of us at the Boxing Voice.
Yeah. It's a great way to celebrate day.
Absolutely. What made you decide to turn pro so young?
Do you know what? If it was down to me, I would have turned pro bloody 17 if I could. But I just thought, like, well, what's the point of fighting and not getting paid? If I'm going to fight, I may as well get paid. And I just I was sparring a lot of the pros anyway, good pros like Meredith. I was sparring Josh and Callum Leather, and I was around it, and I just thought, yeah, why not? I don't know. It was a bit of a mad one. It's weird because I hated the amateurs, absolutely hated it. Hated boxing. I don't know. I just did not like it. But then when I turned pro, I absolutely loved it. It was quite weird. Like I couldn't explain it because it was just I hated the amateurs but loved the pros, and I didn't hated boxing when I was an amateur, but I love it when I was a pro. It's quite mad.
Well, that's the main thing. If you're loving it now, then you made the right decision. It's interesting.
Exactly.
I've spoken to a couple of top coaches recently. Shane McGuigan, one of them, and he's actually a big believer that young men shouldn't really turn pro later than about 22 or 23, because he says, well, this is a punishing game. If you're turning pro at 30, your body's already sort of starting to deteriorate. So
yeah, well, it's been through the mill, isn't it? And there's only so many fights in you, you know. It's the good thing of what we got on our side is the technology and the knowledge and all the treatments that we can have to keep our body, unless, providing you got good financial backing, there's a lot of things that can keep your body going. Back in the day, it wasn't. It was very basic, and they have more fights than what we do now. Do you know what I mean? You've got legends who've had, Roberto Duran, he had 118 fights as a pro. Do you know what I mean? You would never get that unless you're a journeyman, but you would never get that as a top athlete.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, some people are saying Canelo is probably going to be the last of that type. He's had like 60 pro fights.
Exactly, and I bet you his treatments and his recoveries and all that, I bet they're the next level. In order to keep his body in great physique.
Absolutely. Some cynics would say, he's got some special supplements, so we say. But anyway, we won't go into that.
I know, I can imagine what he's but there you are.
So you're going to be boxing at super welterweight, is that right?
Yeah, boxing at super welterweight. So obviously the plan was, because if it was the day before, which they've changed it now, the weigh-in, so it was meant to be on the day. So I said to my manager, "Oh, can we go up a weight so that gives me time to eat throughout the day and whatnot?" He said, "Yeah, good idea." It was only yesterday. Now they've changed it the bloody day before now.
Okay.
But listen, it makes no difference to me. If it was down to me, I'd fight the super heavyweight. It don't bother me. A fight's a fight at the end of the day. I love it. I'm not fazed by it whatsoever. But the weight categories are there for a reason. But
yeah. I spoke to your compatriot Kieran Gething, who's on the same show. Says that down there in the south of Wales, you guys are natural fighters. So
yeah, Kieran Gething, you know what? He's a good boy. He's lovely. I got a lot of time for him. He's a nice boy. He always says hello to me and whatnot. We get on quite well. I like Kieran. He's a good fighter as well.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what he does on Saturday as well. So
yeah,
tell us about this.
Me too. And Craig Woodruff, he's a good boy as well. There's some good fighters on this show. Some really good fighters.
Fantastic show to bring to South Wales, especially building on that big show you had with the Eubank Williams fight a few weeks ago. So
that was
momentum going.
Yeah, exactly. South Wales have got a lot of good fighters, and because it's not, unless you're signing with Frank Warren or Eddie Hearn, and you're over the bridge in England, it's hard to get recognition over here, but there's some talent. Got Kieran Jones, Ben Crocker, Callum Smith, who's trained under Gary, Craig Woodworth. There's some good fighters out there,
Yeah, for the size of the country, Wales has produced some extraordinary talent. So.
Exactly.
This nickname of yours, the Rhino. Tell us how you got that.
Look at my nose; it's battered. No, so I was in work so I'm a scaffolder. So I was in work, and I had a phone call off Colin Jones, who's the Welsh coach, and no, sorry, that's a lie. So we were over in training camp in Spain, and I had Zach Davis in my corner, and I was sparring this Albanian fellow or whatever he was, and I couldn't box him. I couldn't keep it long. I couldn't box him, and I was like a tear up. So Zach Davis was like, just sorry, go to him, and he was like, bloody hell, you were like a bloody rhino. He was. I did 3-4 rounds of just going to war with this kid and sparring. There was three big rings around where we was everyone was in their ring sparring, and by the end of the third round, I had everyone watching me and this kid. Well, he wasn't even a kid. He was a bloke. He was about 28, 5 or whatever he was. I was like 18 at the time. And I went toe to toe with him, and he was bashing my face left, right, and centre. And I just kept fighting. We went toe to toe for like 3-4 rounds, and after I finished, I looked, and everyone was there, and Zach Davis turns around to me and he goes, "You're like a rhino." And I went back in my hometown, and my nose was just over the place. And I was telling him the story. I was like, "Yeah, Zach Davis, he was in my corner. He was like, oh, you were like a rhino." And then one of the boys was like, "Roos Rhino." And then it just like stuck. Like, do you know what I mean? Everyone in Roos now, they don't call me Bite. They don't call me Jay. They call me Rhino. So it's stuck. And then a couple of weeks after the Commonwealth had gone by, I was in work, and Colin Jones then rang me, and the GB squad were down, and I went there, and I done 6 rounds of just going toe to toe with this kid, and I was throwing bombs, he was throwing bombs, and Zach again was like, "You're like a rhino." And I told him then, "No, everyone's calling me Roos Rhino." And he kept doing that to me, as if like the symbol of rhino. But yeah, and that was it. It just stuck like that. Do you know what I mean? Just rhino, I'm just charging at the kids, but my nose is battered. So, it's like a rhino.
I've always said the best nicknames are the ones that someone else gives you. So
it was Zach Davis, man. He called me Rhino, and I was laughing. And then when I came back, I was like, everyone's called me Roos Rhino. He was loving it. It was good.
So, like you said, you're young. It's early days for you. You've got plenty of time to develop. Do you keep an eye on the scene, both home and abroad, around your weight class? Any particular fighters that you're interested in, either as a fan or to fight at some point in the future?
I'll be perfectly honest with you, I don't really watch boxing. I'm not interested in it. I stay in my own lane. I do my own thing. I'm not one of these people that'll be calling out anyone. I'm not to run my mouth. That's not me. But what I will say though, within the same sentence, I don't care who it is. I'll fight at the end of the day, and I won't shy away from anyone, and that's it. But for anyone in particular, no, I'm just whatever. I don't care. I'm not interested. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a massive fan of watching boxing this day and age. I will watch the big fights, but no, I like the old school fights. I'm talking like Tommy Hearn and Sugar Ray and Roberto Duran, and even like Ricky Hatton. They're the type of fighters, and Joe Lewis and bloody Sugar Ray Robinson. And I like all the legends, Edwin Valero. They're the ones I like, and Artur Gatti and Mickey Ward, like the legendary fights.
Sure.
I mean, unfortunately, boxing this day and age is, it's a bit mad me coming from it, saying it, because I'm doing it myself, but it's all about money. Do you know what I mean? If you haven't got financial backing, or if you can't sell tickets, you're nobody, unfortunately.
Yeah, of course, we've seen just past weekend, there was a big YouTube boxing show.
I know, what's all that about?
It's like, I was talking to some of my colleagues in the YouTube reporting business. An interview I'll do with, even say, a world champion might get a few hundred or a few thousand views. One of these YouTubers, you interview them, you get like 100,000 views.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? It's ridiculous. It's like, what is all that? The YouTube boxing's overtaking bloody normal boxing. I just don't get it. Do you know what I mean? But like, you know, but then it's like, well, they're generating ridiculous money. Well, okay, then fair enough. But it's like, what is going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely something the sport needs to look at to get you guys who are serious about the sport the recognition you deserve. So,
well, exactly. It's just like I may as well become a YouTuber and see where that goes, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I think you do get a couple of boxers at I don't know if you know Vidal Riley. He was a top amateur, but he's actually spent a lot of time doing YouTube, you know, all the YouTube stuff, and he's got a big contract with Sky now. I mean, he's actually a serious boxer, though, to be fair, but he obviously realised
that's different.
You need to do the whole social media stuff if you really want to
get it. I don't take away that social media is the biggest, you know, your platform, is your base, isn't it? It's just where you're selling yourself, the social media. I absolutely hate it. I hate Facebook, I hate Instagram, I hate Snapchat, Twitter, you name it. I hate it all because it drives me insane because I'm so glued on it because I have to keep everyone updated. I have to keep posting. It's nuts. I genuinely believe I was born in the wrong era, but you know, I can't change that, can I?
Yeah. I mean, since you've turned pro or even as an amateur, you mentioned the Leather Brothers. Any other top fighters that you've managed to get sparring with?
Chris Jenkins. I done a little bit with Liam Williams, but that was like, he was like teaching me and taking me around. Joey Cordina. That's it really.
Some good fighters there to learn off.
Yeah, you know, I mean, sparring Liam Williams, I wasn't nice. But he caught me with a nice body shot. Oh, and Chris Jenkins, he caught me some nice rib ticklers. They're not nice at all. But yeah, do you know what? It's all learning curve, and it's. Do you know what? Even if I'm not sparring them, I'm just in the same room as them. It's nice and they're talking to the boys, they're showing the boys, and it's nice to see that, like, you know, because I could take knowledge like that way as well. Like Joey Cordina, he comes down the gym quite often when he's not up at his end of training with Tony Sims, and he's talking and he's giving like Reese Edwards or other fighters in the gym tips and whatnot, and I'm listening. I'm like, oh, I could try that, and if I try it and it don't work for me, well, at least I've tried it. But I'm picking it up, like, you know, and then I think you need to be around good fighters and people with good knowledge, boxing knowledge, to gain process, you know, and to go on. You know, I got a really good coach, Gary Lockett, and for what he's achieved as well, you know, it's his knowledge is up there. Do you know what I mean? He's got good boxing knowledge, and he's passing that on to us, like, you know, which is good, which is nice.
Absolutely, Gary, quite the Welsh legend, isn't he?
Yeah.
And helping you the next generation on. So Saturday is going to be your first 6-rounder, I presume.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular vague targets over the next year or so? Like, do you want to sort of fight for the Welsh title, or maybe in the next year or so? Anything along that line?
Well, again, I'm quite realistic, I would like to say, and I'm not one of those that I'm going to sit here and tell you that I'm going to be a world champion or British champion in 5 years, because you never know what could happen. And you know, I definitely, all I want, and if I can achieve it, if I can make a bit of money and get a couple of properties out of boxing, and you know, Gary as a manager and a trainer, he's done his job, and obviously providing that I keep winning. But my fantasy goal, and my dream, if you want to call it, if I could do 10 rounds or 12 rounds in Cardiff City Stadium, and I mean going hell to leather, toe to toe from round 1 to round 12 or 10, or whatever it is, of full on, just not leaving that centre, both fighters going at it, making it like a proper legendary fight. It's not going to be a legendary fight compared to other people, but just an absolute war, and it's not even for a title. It's just a normal fight. That to me is my world title. That's me. That's my dream done. Do you know what I mean? And I want people and win or lose, I don't care. I want people to be like, bloody hell, you had a hell of a fight. That was a wicked fight. That's what I want. I don't care about titles and all this, whatever. If I have a 10 round or 12 round fight of going to war in the centre of the Cardiff City Stadium and everyone shouting Bluebirds and Rhino, then that's me done. That's I'll put my hand up and say that's a world title for me.
Mm-hmm. That's a great
dream. And then we all go back to the pub then.
I'll tell you what would make it extra special if your opponent was a Swansea City fan.
Yeah. Be some riots going on in the crowd, to tell you. But no, we said that would really the buzz on me on that. But who knows, Who knows?
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Absolutely. But you've got a great team behind you, and I'm sure there'll be work to make that happen one day. All right, Jay, anything you want to add?
Just want to say a massive thank you to the promotion company for putting on this show. A massive thank you to all my supporters and my friends, my family, and a massive thank you to all my sponsors.
Fab. All right, Jay, we look forward to the Rhino being let loose on Saturday night, Cardiff Vale Sports Arena. So any fans, get in touch with yourself or the promoters.
Yeah.
Let's get behind all those Welsh lads.
Let's have it.
Okay, Jay, thanks for speaking to the Boxing Voice. See you Saturday night.
Take care.
For the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, from title, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.